The first essay that I will be revising is my Lord of the Flies essay. This picture and the last picture is the original copy of my Lord of the Flies essay. In the first paragraph, first sentence, I replaced going somewhere with walking down the street because I feel like it's more direct and more specific instead of just saying going somewhere. I also replaced the words have to with must because I feel like it fits in the sentence better. In my second paragraph, I took out the last two sentences because I feel like it didn't flow as well. After he finishes with the piece of meat, he can't really find more food because he can't leave his hiding spot or else he'll die. This didn't seem like a good sentence to me because I used the word can't too much and I felt like it was more like a run-on instead of an actual sentence. So I took parts and I added parts to make a new sentence, and I feel like this sentence fits better. I also changed the concluding sentence of this paragraph because I started with the word after like I did in the before sentence. I felt like that was a repetition, so I took it out and added the word why. My revised concluding sentence for my third body paragraph is much better than the original text because it's short and to the point. For the topic sentence of my final body paragraph, I took the words at first and I put it at the beginning to make a better transition sentence. I also took out the words for Ralph because it was a repetition of his name. This is a typed version of my timed right for my Persepolis essay because I forgot to take a before photo of the original copy. My first edit for my timed right was, Margine was a young girl when the revolution began, so she couldn't have a say in what could have been done. I feel like this is better than the original sentence because it fits better as a summary sentence. My next edit was my thesis statement. I feel like my thesis statement had the right words, but it didn't connect the way that it was supposed to. My original sentence was, in Persepolis, the character's social class and the community's adaptations to changes, women's especially, were affected. That sentence makes no sense at all. I don't even know what I was talking about. My revised sentence is, in Persepolis, social classes and women in the community are deeply impacted. I feel like this thesis statement matches more with my two body paragraphs as well. In my second body paragraph, I talk more about the women in the community instead of the community as a whole. That's why I feel like my second thesis statement will work better with my introduction because it also matches my body paragraphs better. My concluding sentence for my first body paragraph didn't make any sense at all. My original concluding sentence is, but no matter where, young and older women were deeply impacted. This sentence doesn't even sound like a complete sentence. I feel like the main problem in this sentence is the fact that I started it with the word but. My original sentence is, the change was hard even for older women, constantly fighting over freedom and what's. My revised sentence is, the change created war within communities. Women were constantly fighting over what's right and freedom. I know this sentence is much better because in this sentence I'm talking about all the women together and not just the older ones, because in this scene in the book it was talking about all the women and not just the older ones. My revised sentence is much better because it's talking about young women like Margine and not just young women in the community. This is my homework response timed right. You put a comma after the word therefore and before the word meaning. The comma is put here because it is an introductory adverb. This is my Macbeth timed right. You put a comma after Fleance exits because this is a quote and there should always be a comma after a quote ends. This is my Macbeth quiz 1. I put commas before and after the word but. I put them there because we can take the word but out and the sentence will work perfectly fine. When the witches speak, they only speak truth, in riddle format, which made James I very curious. This is my Lord of the Flies essay. I put a comma before the word but because it is a conjunction that links up two independent clauses. This was a Macbeth quiz. The commas in the last sentence are used to separate dependent clauses of a sentence. This is journal number 7. The word that I misspelled is the word designed. Synonyms for the word designed is arranged, described, and produced. Arrange to impress or attract notice. Describe to impress or attract notice. Produce to impress or attract notice. My second spelling error was in my Persepolis essay. I misspelled the word effect with an A. Synonyms for the word effect are impact, consequence, and outcome. Revolutions can cause big impact on communities. Revolutions can cause big consequences on communities. Revolutions can cause big outcomes on communities. And my third spelling mistake is also in my Persepolis essay. Over here, I misspelled the word extremely. Synonyms for the word extremely are remarkably, very, and highly. They weren't very poor or remarkably rich. They weren't very poor or very rich. They weren't very poor or highly rich. Throughout the semester, my writing has improved a lot. At the beginning of the semester, my writing was rough and patchy. I never had any fluency or relevance, and I kept getting off topic. While trying to improve my writing, I ended up making a lot of mistakes because I kept going above my level. I kept using words that I've never seen before just to make myself look more professional, when I just ended up looking stupid because I didn't know what any of the words meant. Analysis and explaining the quote is something I struggle with a lot. I would constantly be repeating myself in different yet same ways, trying to make it look longer without realizing how off topic I was going. I've improved off of this. I know now how to explain the quote without repeating, as well as not using summary in my explanations.